What fact is common knowledge to people who work in your field, but almost unknown to the rest of the population? If you're putting in new carpet, always go top shelf with the pad. The increase in cost is negligible and the upgrade to feel, usability and endurance of the rug on top will be way better dollar to value ratio than spending on the carpet itself. £8 memory foam is maybe $2 a yard more than trash apartment grade stuff, but 10 times better underfoot. Go for the cheapest carpet you can stand. Remember, you aren't going to be running your fingers through your house's carpet for more than 3 days after it's installed, and put the best damp pad money can buy under it. You'll spend less and it'll feel like you bought $50 a yard carpet. Your eyes and mouth don't stay shut when you're dead. Somebody has to shut them to make a deceased person look more presentable. Most Swiss cheeses Gruyere, Emmentaler, Appenzeller are lactose free, as well as any cheese that's been aged at least 2 years, like Parmigiano Reggiano or an aged Gouda. I work at a cheese shop, and clients are usually surprised when I share that information with them. I wish more people with lactose intolerance knew about it. Drowning is silent. I pulled out a kid literally less than a foot away from a large group of adults, and not one of them noticed that his head was totally submerged and that he was struggling. You cannot go from having black hair to silver or platinum blonde in one sitting. It takes multiple, and 9 times out of 10, your hair is fried beyond repair by the end of it. Kim Kardashian or whoever you pinned on your Pinterest page or Instagram is wearing a wig. More people die in lifeboat drills than they do in any other marine incidents. There is a period of time every year that in the US, the Department of Transportation pulls over any and every truck that they can. During this period, many trucking companies take vacation time, as the potential hassle is not worth the money made during this time. Just because a disabled child person is nonverbal, that doesn't necessarily mean they can't understand everything you're saying. It's crazy how often I have to tell my own staff to watch what they're saying. These kids still get embarrassed or upset if you talk about the massive shit they just took right in front of the whole class. It really does help us at the library when you don't reshelve your own materials. Not because we don't trust you to know where they're supposed to go, but because if you put it away yourself, we can't keep track of the fact that someone looked at it, which is useful information for us to have. Potential cancer cells develop in the human body every day, and our immune system efficiently kills them without any trouble, and we just go on living our lives like nothing ever happened. I'm a lifeguard, so nothing special, but while training to be one I learned that nearly no drowning victims ever wake back up. They usually die. CPR only has a 10% success rate, and even then the chance that they will be a veggie for the rest of their life is something like 80%. So in reality you have about a 2% chance of ever being normal again if you drown. Moral of this story is, wear the life jacket if told to, and stop arguing with the lifeguards about how your child is a fish. Not my current field, but when I worked at Starbucks, not a lot of people understood that a larger espresso drink does not always more caffeine. A tall drink has 1 shot, Grand has 2, and a venti also has 2, unless it's iced, and then it gets a 3rd shot. So many times customers would order a Grand Lat and say, you know what, you'd better make that a venti. I can use the extra caffeine, when in fact the larger size is just more diluted with milk. If you are looking for more caffeine, a drip coffee is going to be the most bang for your buck. Also, this seems really obvious, but a lot of people would get upset when they ordered a flavored coffee and saw that I would put syrup in it. No, coffee beans do not naturally come in caramel, vanilla, toffee nut, raspberry, etc. flavor. The maximum spacing between spindles in a railing is 4 because that's the average size of a baby's head. Most building officials will carry a 4 sphere with them when doing inspections on new construction. Being a civil attorney, we almost never go to jury trial, and the job can be unbelievably boring. The best treatment for a child with anxiety is treating their parents' anxiety. For those curious, I'm a licensed mental health professional that specializes in children. I appreciate that some people noted that anxiety is a necessary healthy reaction that all people experience. Very true. Worries help keep us safe and let us know when there is danger. It's the worries that interfere with daily functioning that become an issue. I think of anxiety issues on a spectrum. On one end is a healthy dose, and on the other is a diagnosable anxiety disorder. There are people all across that spectrum that would benefit from therapy or learning some adaptive strategies. As some have pointed out, a child's anxiety is not 100% a result of a parent's anxiety. There are, of course, cases where a child develops anxiety due to other circumstances. However, in the majority of cases with anxiety in children, it can be treated by treating the parent. Children look to their parents for guidance, to learn about what is and isn't safe. They are sponges that are constantly learning how to react to different things they approach. One of the easiest examples to see this is when a child experiences a minor injury scare. They will naturally look to a trusted adult to judge how they should react. If the adult gasps, comes running with their arms extended, making a worried face, the child learns that was bad, and they should be upset, hurt, scared. If the parent was to smile, shrug, and say "oh man," the child will likely brush it off and move on unless they acquired an injury. Of course, think about this on a bigger scale. If a child is consistently learning the world is a scary and dangerous place, there are threats everywhere, etc., they are being set up for anxiety issues. Same goes for specific phobias. Many of these are directly taught to children by seeing their parents fear. Nothing says to be afraid of something more than the person you rely on for your survival showing their own genuine fear. Simply following up with children regarding a scary or uncomfortable experience can make a world of difference. If you can inform them of what made that specific experience dangerous or scary, that helps teach them what to look out for instead of generalizing that fear to any experience that involves the same factors. One common example is children's fear of bugs. The children have never had a bad experience with bugs, but the fact their parent runs away screaming from them each time she has an encounter is a pretty clear message to them that they are not safe to be around. Nothing like the person you trust most in this world expressing panic to discourage you from even getting close to them, especially when she tried reinforces your anxious reactions by holding you and crying with you after you nearly escaped death by a caterpillar. An elevator will go up to the top of the hoist instead of crash to the floor in most catastrophic failures due to the counterweights. Office copiers cost upwards of $7,000, some can go for $15,000, $20,000 depending on print speed and capacity. The toner in your printer is plastic being melted onto the paper. Neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson, starts way before the first symptoms appears. No one wake up suddenly one day with Alzheimer's. From actual data, it seems that the disease is rampant for 10-15 years before the first symptoms. Some research say that you can start identifying abnormalities 20+ years before the memory loss begin. And it works for all neurodegenerative diseases are fake. There is a surprising amount of infrastructure under your feet. You'd be surprised how much public utility runs underneath private property. Always call before you dig. Rats are neophobic, scared of new things, and mice are naturally curious. I worked as an insurance adjuster. Most people have no idea what homeowners insurance actually does. Here is a very simple guide to understanding what is covered by homeowners insurance. A sudden and one-time occurrence. While there are some exceptions to this, understanding those few words will help you understand 95% of what is and is not covered by your policy. Military grade does not mean it's awesome. Doubling the dose of a drug does not double the effect. Likewise, a child should not be given the same dose per kilogram body weight as an adult. In jewelry, a diamond is a luxury expense, not an investment. Gold is the investment. If you try to sell your engagement ring, you'll get maybe 20% of what you initially paid for it. Jewelers can get diamonds for a fraction of what you paid for it. Most 911 calls an ambulance receives on a daily basis are not remotely close to being emergencies. I'm a sign language interpreter. This is based off the comments I get from the general hearing population. 1. We do not take care of or help the deaf person. We work for them same as we are working for you. 2. No. I'm not related to this deaf person. I'm not even friends with them. You would think all the heavily relied upon server infrastructures were super secure and highly redundant. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.